It all begins with a young man named John running frantically through a forest in Ireland, a place notorious for attracting lost souls from which no one can escape. As John tries to find his way out, he realizes he's running in circles and that his watch has stopped. Desperate, he climbs a tree to spend the night. We then meet our main character, Mina, an American living in Ireland who works at a pet store. One day, her boss asks her to take a beautiful macaw to the zoo, so she takes it home for the night. That evening, for reasons unknown, she puts on a wig and goes to a bar, where she chats with a guy using a fake name and profession. The next day, she confides in the bird that she sometimes enjoys going out in disguise. An audio message from her sister reveals that Mina is somewhat distant, struggling to cope with the loss of someone very close to her. As Mina drives through the forest, she notices numerous missing people. Her phone and radio signals begin to fail, and the car unexpectedly stops. When she gets out, she finds a sign warning of the point of no return. Assuming someone must live nearby, she takes the parrot, now named Darwin, and starts looking for help. However, she finds no one and decides to return to the car, only to discover it has vanished. Trying to stay calm, Mina resigns herself to the fact that she is now trapped in the mysterious and ominous forest. However, the earth begins to tremble. Hearing someone running, Mina follows and encounters a white-haired woman who suddenly opens a door, urging her to run inside as it will close in 5 seconds. Inside, the woman, named Madeline, explains that this place is called the shelter and introduces her to Ciara and Daniel. Madeline hurriedly explains that they must prepare for the arrival of the Watchers, who appear at night and silently observe them until sunrise. Madeline instructs Mina to take a step forward, and they hear noises that confirm the Watchers' presence, clapping for their arrival. At dawn, the strange mirror fades away, and Mina prepares to leave, despite warnings that she will not survive. She is stunned when a girl asks why she left, and as she keeps running, finally catches a glimpse of the sun, only to realize it is a dead end. Back in the forest, Madeline tells her that everyone has tried and failed to escape. She warns Mina to be cautious, explaining that the forest causes hallucinations and that she must not go beyond the line of signs around the area. This invisible boundary, marked by signs, delineates the point beyond which it becomes nearly impossible to return. Upon returning to the shelter, Daniel wonders about the spectacle the Watchers will make of Mina's return. Later, Ciara begins dancing, delighting in the Watchers' approval. Mina watches a recorded TV show, and the next day, she takes a stroll with Ciara, who reveals that her husband, John, disappeared 6 days ago, the same man attacked at the forest's beginning. Ciara shows Mina the burrows, holes in the ground where the Watchers hide during daylight. When they reconvene at the shelter, Madeline lays down the rules: never turn her back to the mirror, never open the door after dark, and steer clear of the burrows in the evening. As Mina continues watching the program, boredom sets in, and she taps her fingers on the mirror, hoping for a response. The next day, Mina joins Daniel on a hunt for supplies. He reveals that Matt, a former university professor, has been trapped there for over 8 months. Seeing Daniel's curiosity, Mina convinces him to help explore the burrows. As they approach, Daniel warns her to stay in the light. After exploring and recovering various objects belonging to others, Mina urges Daniel to hop on a bicycle. Just as he mounts it, a noise startles them. Fortunately, Daniel manages to escape on the bicycle, and Mina retrieves numerous items, including a camera that only functions inside the shelter. They decide to place the camera outside to observe the Watchers, but the creatures never appear. Instead, a person knocks on the shelter's door. It's Ciara's husband. Madeline refuses to open the door, claiming it's a trick by the Watchers. She interrogates Mina about her actions, and Mina admits installing the camera. Madeline instructs Ciara to ask her husband a question only he would know. When Ciara queries him about the book he's reading, he fails to answer correctly. Convinced he's an imposter, Ciara demands to see his face on the camera. As the Watchers approach, they brace themselves, and with great force, they shatter the mirror. The next day, Madeline returns all the retrieved items to their rightful places. Later, while drawing, Mina recalls a childhood memory of being a mischievous girl. She remembers causing a car accident that claimed her mother's life while disobeying her sister and mother during a journey. She reflects that winter has arrived, shortening the days. As Mina notices Madeline's harsh treatment and yelling, she informs Daniel in the shelter. Inside, Ciara appears visibly distressed, while Mina has been drawing the forest on the floor. Suddenly realizing Ciara has left the shelter, Mina goes outside to find her, locating her near the burrows as she searches for her husband, John. They hear a scream, discovering that Daniel has tied up Madeline. Rushing back to the shelter, Mina and Maid hide amidst the branches, hoping to evade detection. Meanwhile, at the shelter, Daniel has Ciara waiting with him for the Watchers. When they realize 2 people are missing, they go looking for them. Madeline and Mina knock on the door again, and Madeline tells Daniel that his mother died because of him, warning him not to live with the same guilt for the rest of his life. Convinced by her words, Daniel opens the door for them, but there's no time for discussion, as they must face the mirror. At that critical moment, Madeline confesses that she was once a teacher who knew the forest's mythology, leading her to venture into its depths out of curiosity. She reveals that she encountered a watcher, a sinister duplicate of herself, part of a fairy-like species that mimics human behavior. According to the mythology, these creatures observe and replicate the actions of those trapped in the forest. Suddenly, they hear the watchers begin to mimic their words and attempt to break down the door. Fortunately, Mina discovers a hidden box under the floor carpet that, when opened, reveals a hatch. They descend just in time as the watchers manage to break through the door and mirror. In the underground chamber, they discover a sophisticated setup with ample food supplies and even a computer, though it lacks internet access. However, it contains videos left behind by a professor. In the video, the professor reveals his initial intent to create a wonderland, a sanctuary within the forest. He confesses to hiring many people to build the shelter, but callously leaving them outside to perish at night. Over time, the creatures began mimicking human traits with alarming accuracy, forcing him to reinforce the shelter's defenses. He recounts encountering a unique creature resembling a calm girl with red hair, unlike the others. This individual didn't conform to the group's behavior. In another video, he describes locking one of these creatures in the shelter to study its behavior. As Mina continues watching, she opens the final video recorded on the 300th day. The professor appears distraught, admitting that the creatures he once admired now seek to kill him. He holds a gun with 2 bullets, one for the creature and one for himself. Before ending his life, he urges viewers to reach a specific sign and follow the birds to find a boat that could lead them out of the forest. His final plea is for them to destroy everything he studied about the forest in his office. This revelation leaves Mina and the others grappling with the professor's tragic fate and the grim reality of their own situation in the forest. After Mina reveals the professor's message, they decide to leave the next day. To celebrate their impending departure, Ciara starts dancing with Daniel, who opens up about his troubled past with an abusive father. Touched by his vulnerability, Ciara promises to stay by his side if they manage to escape. The next day, they open the gate and head towards the boat, near sign number 134. Mina releases Darwin to lead the way, and along their journey, they stumble upon a tomb built centuries ago by humans to exile the fairies. As darkness falls, the fairies begin to pursue them. Eventually, they reach the river and find the boat. Unfortunately, Daniel falls into a trap set by the fairies, who mistake him for John. A fairy marks him on the forehead, but they manage to evade further danger until sunrise. In the morning, Mina is relieved to find Darwin back with her, and they finally embark on the boat, escaping the forest's clutches and finding their freedom at last. Together, they board the bus to Galway, Mina's hometown. Despite the surreal nature of their escape, all 3 successfully arrive in the city. When Mina returns home, she takes a shower and reflects on the tragic day her mother died because of her actions. The following day, she visits the professor's university, posing as his niece. In his office, she uncovers startling information. Before being exiled to the forest without wings, the fairies lived among humans as guardians, friends, and even had children with humans. These mixed-breed individuals possess the ability to mimic the appearance of other people, a revelation that sheds light on the eerie behavior of the watchers in the forest. As Mina explores further in the professor's university office, she comes across a large painting and several photos that deeply surprise her. That night, she heads to Ciara's house to share her discovery. Mina reveals that Madeline was actually the professor's wife, who has since passed away. The realization hits them hard. Madeline had been a fairy all along, masquerading among them. Determined, Mina decides to confront Madeline and compel her to return to her true realm. However, her plan quickly unravels when it becomes apparent that Madeline has assumed Ciara's form. Now, Mina must navigate the unsettling truth that they have been living alongside a fairy in disguise all this time, posing a new set of challenges and uncertainties. The fairy, now in Mina's form, confesses to her that she used them as subjects for her studies, and thanks to Mina, she finally managed to escape the forest. However, she now insists that she must kill Mina because she knows Mina will eventually betray her, just as she plans to betray Mina. As she prepares to strike, she reveals that she is a hybrid, a cross between a fairy and a human, allowing her to walk in the light, a fact that astonishes Mina. In a moment of empathy and understanding, Mina tells her they are not so different and suggests they don't have to be alone. She proposes that there might be more hybrids like them on Earth. Moved by Mina's words, the fairy opens her wings and decides to leave. Sometime later, Mina meets with her sister Lucy and shares everything that happened. She explains how she often sees the fairy watching her, taking on different forms, but assures Lucy that she is overcoming the ordeal and moving forward with her life. Together, they find solace in each other's company, knowing they can face whatever comes next, including the lingering presence of the fairy who once influenced their lives so profoundly.